Accounting and Consulting.
Welcome to Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony Sykes, and you're watching RantRadioNetwork.com. Give us a call at 855-693-4897. We'd like to know what's taxing you. Now, here we are. We're approaching the last tax deadline, and I believe for individuals, that is October 15th. You have less than a month to go before you need to get your individual tax returns in. So we'll start that countdown today. Visit our website. Sign up for the newsletter at www.sykesaccounting.com. We have lots of tax tips and new things going on, and in this time of the year, that's pretty helpful because it's time to do some tax planning, and if you don't, then you could up owing more taxes than you need to. So let's take a look. You don't have to sign up with us, although I think we're the best ones on the block. Visit the other website if you'd like to get a free industry analysis. That's accountant for the number 4 manufacturers.com. Now, what that one does, it gives you the industry averages for your industry. So let's say you're in your restaurant and you want to know what the average gross profit is for a restaurant. If you send us your request, we'll send that to you for free. Now, if you want to know how well your company is doing and you're looking to get a loan, don't just fill out that application blindly and submit it to the bank, because what happens is it's in stone. And once you get rejected, you can't go back for another 6 months, and you may miss out on something. So if you come into us, we need 2 years of financial statements. We can sit down and analyze your company to itself and to the industry, show those ratios that the banks look for, and we can tell you what you need to improve so that when you do fill out that application and you take it into the bank, you have a very good chance of getting that line of credit or a loan. That's accountant number 4 manufacturers.com. Now, for the show, give us a call, as I said earlier, at 855-693-4897, or send me an email at asykes@sykesaccounting. I'm starting to get allergies here on the air, .com, and I'll answer those questions on the next show. The last week was a fairly busy week. We had 3 seminars. The Here's the Money seminar in Universal City, put on by the Valley Economic Development Corporation, was a big hit. There were well over 400, probably closer to 500 people there, and all the big banks were there. I'm hoping that you were there, because there were a lot of good seminars, a lot of good booths, a lot of people there who look to loan money to small businesses, maybe just like yours. And also you got tax tips. I was there. I had a booth. We were there representing the IRS, and interesting enough, a lot of people had tax questions, and I'm glad that they answered them, because we actually do a lot of tax representation. I know I don't mention that much on the air, but yes, we represent people before IRS, EDD, Board of Equalization, and the Franchise Tax Board, and we can represent you if you have a tax issue. Remember, if you receive a letter from one of those government agencies, it is not junk mail. You should address it. You should call. You should do something. If you are not sure, then you should talk to your tax person, or give us a call at 562-864-2341. Now, A lot of things. Some of the stuff I like to do. First, I'll tell you about an upcoming seminar, and this one's closer to the end of October. It's going to be October 24th. I'm sorry, October 25th. That's a Saturday. And it's going to be, I believe, from, I'm looking at the time here, I think from 9 to 1. But I'm not totally sure on that end time. It's again sponsored by the Board of Equalization, but this one is the Health, Wealth, and Wellness Conference and Resource Fair. It's going to be at Hollywood Park Pavilion, and that's at 3883 West Century Boulevard in Inglewood, 90303. Now, what they're going to be doing is maximizing, giving you tips on how to build your wealth, starting a budget on starting a business on a shoestring budget, starting an internet business, starting a nonprofit, writing community grants, and then, of course, since it's health, wealth, optimizing your health through health maintenance. Proactive health maintenance, by the way, and a roadmap to preventative care. So there's going to be a little bit for everything, because if you do become successful, and you do have money, it doesn't do you much good if you don't have the health to enjoy it. So this is a pretty good seminar. I'm looking to be there. Again, representing the IRS, we'd have a booth. We would be there, as well as I'd represent the IRS, and then the booth I also have is split between IRS and Anthony Sykes. We do a lot of those. We're coming close to the, I guess, the end of our seminar year here, but there's another one coming up, and that one's going to be in Torrance, another Board of Equalization seminar. I'll have those times and dates a little bit later, because they're not finalized yet as far as I know, or I have not gotten the information yet. That's probably a better way to put it. They are setting up who's going to be there, and once I know, then I can let you know. Or you can always go to my website, and I should have that information up at any time. Now, for the seminars for the Board of Equalization, you can always go to boe.ca.gov/seminars, and it tells you all the seminars that they have. We still do EDD seminars, or payroll workshop seminars with EDD, and there's still a bunch of those left. And I do suggest that you take one if you're looking to have employees, or if you have employees, go to the EDD workshop, edd.ca.gov, and look it up under seminars. So you can do a lot of things with this. And one of the other things that I do suggest is that you, in preparing your business as we're into the fourth quarter of this year, is take a look at how you're going to do some tax planning. And in that, I picked up some of the things that what's happening right now. The AICPA, and that's the American Institute of CPAs. They wrote a letter to Congress suggesting that they keep a lot of those tax breaks that are due to expire, since Congress really hasn't acted upon anything. For the most part, they've spent the better part of the year either fighting with the president, fighting among themselves, or just plain fighting with somebody, and not really attending to very much running the country. And again, that's just one man's opinion. So when it comes to the tax law, what I would really, or tax laws, I really hope, along with the AICPA, is that Congress keep some of those tax breaks. It's very hard for us as preparers to plan for our clients, and it's even harder for you who have a small business to try to plan when you don't know what's going to be there and what's not. It's tough enough right now to compete with the competition, not only domestically but foreign, and then to have your own government kind of up in the air as far as the tax laws. Everybody wants to pay the least amount tax legally, but you have to know what is and what is not deductible. And I'm kind of going to take a quick read here. They asked that Congress begin consideration of extenders legislation earlier this year. The AICP wrote in a letter, but America's businesses and individuals are still faced with uncertainty in planning and compliance as we quickly approach the fourth quarter. And there's a lot of what they call the tax extenders. Those are the credits that were there in for the 2013 tax year, and now they're gone. So if Congress votes to put those in until they decide what they want to do, at least to extend them forward, then it gives us something to work with, something to plan with, so we can tell our clients that, look, you can get this credit if you do this. You can then hire some people because you can plan on these credits and having that extra cash. Right now, you just sort of sit and wait till the last minute, and that doesn't always work very well. So, hopefully, if you do nothing, write your congressperson and say, hey, I'd like these tax extenders to be voted on. I like the at least the credits that were there for 2013 be extended to 2014 while you guys get your act together. And we'll talk a little bit more about this after the break. We'll see you later. You're listening to the Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. We'll be right back.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. Free quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
Looking for some swag? Make sure to check out monsterclothing.com. They got everything from V-necks, t-shirts, hoodies, baby dolls, and remember, custom orders are always welcome, and much more. They're just not on the site yet. www.monsterclothingco.com or call them at 888-49-MONSTER. 888-49-MONSTER. Hablamos español.
It's one thing to own a business, it's another to promote it. That's why thousands of business owners rely on Monster Marketing Group. Design, print, mail, custom mailers, all for as little as 29 cents delivered. That includes postage. Send to a neighborhood, zip code, or an entire city. With just a simple call, 888-49-MONSTER, you can easily promote your business, sales, events, grand openings, send coupons, and much more. Your mail delivers in as little as 5 days. No dealing with the mailing list or paperwork. Monster Marketing does all the heavy lifting. Get started now by calling 888-49-MONSTER or go to monsterng.com. Monster Marketing Group. We deliver, we give you results, we can prove it.
ProTech Carpet Tile and Care provides professional cleaning services for carpet, tile, grout, upholstery, and fine area rugs. ProTech technicians are professionally trained and certified cleaning and restoration experts. We specialize in restoring damage caused by heavy soil and odor. We can remove challenging spots such as coffee, tea, ink, gum, wine, and many more. We have saved our customers thousands of dollars on new flooring and furniture expenses with our advanced cleaning processes. Call for a free estimate at 562-447-4300 and visit us on our website, www.myprotectsite.com.
Hey, this is Joe Perez, owner at Protect. Just reminding you that Protect Carpet and Tile Care is your professional choice.
Welcome to Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Welcome back, everyone, to the RantRadioNetwork.com. I'm Anthony Sykes. Give us a call at 855-693-4897. We'd like to know what's taxing you. Now, with me is my co-host, Ms. Cheryl Bohannon. Say hi.
Good morning. Good morning. So what is taxing today?
What is taxing you?
Man, just trying to take it all in, because I hear and then listening to the last part that you were just talking about. So we actually have a say-so in what taxes can stay for our benefit. Like, do we really? It's not like left to the powers that be, and the sun and the moon and the stars have to be aligned before they say yes. Like, we can have a say-so.
It depends upon politics, and politicians respond to those who have the votes. Those who have the votes and the contributions get those things. So if you don't have one and you have the other, yes, you can get them extended. So you have a write-in campaign and say, we want this and this and this. Yeah, it can happen. And we should, because the last few years, what has happened is the tax laws get changed in the end of the year. And couple years, it was right at you could almost say New Year's Eve, and you can't really plan with that. One year, I remember that the tax laws were actually passed in January, made retroactive, and so the software companies, tax companies, had to redo a lot of things, and the taxes actually were processed late because Congress passed all these bills late, and we're looking again at something like that. It takes IRS 30 to 45 days really to get the forms ready, to do the regulations as to what the law says, and try to get that ready. So the closer we get to January, the longer it's going to take to process a tax return. A lot of this stuff should have already been done. Then IRS could get the forms out, we could look at them, and so on. We're just now getting draft forms for the Affordable Care stuff, because this year, as you know, the penalties are going to come out for those who did not get the insurance. And there's a schedule that shows how much you paid each month for the insurance. That's still in the draft form. Yeah, we still have a little more than 90 days left before the beginning of the year. But that does not mean the tax software companies have 90 days left. The software has to be ready January 19th or so. And actually, some parts of it need to be ready by January 2nd.
Wow. Okay. So we can, if we write in and tell someone we want certain credits or tax credits or the phase outs to extend longer, then there is a possible chance that it'll stay.
Well, yeah, not just someone. You start off with your two senators here in California, then two, your representative who represents your district. You look that person up and you write them letters, and they will take that to their committees that they're in, and they may not be on the Ways and Means Committee, which oversees taxes, but they will pass it along. They will get nervous because, again, they get enough mail that means that somebody's watching what I
Somebody's
do,
paying attention.
and I may not get reelected. And the same thing with your senators. They then will move that along. So everything is about how much attention am I getting and who's watching me. So when I go up for reelection, I have that happy fan base.
Wow. Well, it's a lot of politics. So it's
That's-
politics and taxes.
That's what it is.
It's politics and taxes.
Taxes are made for my thought, and these are my thoughts only for three reasons. The first being obviously is to generate the income to run the nation, the government, and the second is somewhat new within the last, I guess, the 40 years or 50 years, and that is for social causes. You have earned income credit, you have things for Medicare, and so on. And the third is something that's been around almost as long as the need to generate revenue, and that is special interest. So you have depletion for oil companies. You have farm subsidies for the agribusiness. You have what is that? Domestic deduction, domestic production deduction. If you make anything in America, you can take a deduction for it. And that doesn't just extend to manufacturers. It can go to some types of contractors and even architects. So there are different things. Or even if you're making a movie or a record, you may be able to qualify for that depending on the steps that you follow. So it is very broad. It will help you if you know how to do it, if you know where it is.
And see, I don't mind paying taxes if the dollars are used for things that help my community function better and live better, like in parks and streets and just some of the rec centers, roads, just all those different things. I don't mind, but it's when those dollars, you don't see them going anywhere. They're not in our school districts. You know, the lottery was supposed to bring all this money to our school districts. Some of the kids there don't even have books, can't take them home and have, copies for homework. So if I'm going to pay them, I just want the best value for my dollar. That's what I usually tell people as an investment advisor. I have 3 jobs. One, to help you reduce your taxable income through investments. That's number 1. Number 2, finding the highest rate of return within your risk tolerance. And number 3, if we have to spend the money, let's find the best value for your dollar. So I don't mind doing it. It's almost like eating at that place. It's expensive, but the food is nasty. You're upset because it was expensive and the food was nasty. But if the expensive and the food was good, you don't mind. So I sort of have that attitude with taxes. I just don't like my money to be wasted, especially when we get up and work as hard as we do. I noticed that there, as far as credits and deductions, and then they talk about income exclusions for certain things. And I know from just past history and the little knowledge in taxes I do have, the one deduction that does not phase out is real estate. Like the college deduction, like the college credit that people can get, that depending on their income, I believe that can actually phase out if your income is too high. I know with the different IRAs, your income is too high. So I believe the only one I've known so far, and I mean, like I said, my little knowledge, that real estate is the one that regardless of your income, it does not actually phase out as a deduction.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
When you say real estate, it depends. Maybe mortgage interest, maybe the real estate property taxes. There is a limitation on the amount of mortgage interest that you can take depending upon the mortgage and your income.
Okay.
There is a phase out of your itemized deductions, of which mortgage interest and real estate taxes are. Now, one reason why they are not touched as much is, again, your elected officials, and I'm talking at the federal level, have to have two homes, one in Washington and one in their district. So they may have an apartment here or an apartment in their district and a home in Washington, or they may have an apartment in Washington and a home in their district, depending upon one, how much money they have, because some are millionaires and can afford to have two homes, but you still have the upkeep for two homes,
Right.
and
Expensive.
everything. So they want, just like what everyone else wants, to be able to deduct all those expenses. And that's why you have that. That's why you have interest on a second home, because most, if not most, of your federal elected officials have to maintain two homes. Otherwise, they will be sanctioned or kicked out or something, because they have to have a home there, because they have to spend time in Washington and they have to have a home in their district. Every now and then, locally, you'll hear of a scandal where a local official is not living in their district because they apparently don't like the neighborhood that their district is in, but they represent it, and so they try to find the nicest neighborhood in that district, no matter how bad that district is. Or they may have an apartment in that district and a nicer home out in the suburbs or a nicer part of Los Angeles, which they are allowed to do, but you must have your formal residence in that district. So you can have a second home somewhere else, but in your district must be your primary home.
Wow. Okay. So at least, I guess, on that accord, and then with their employment, a good part of that should be deductible.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, when you do some planning, I have a client, and he has this huge mortgage interest, and for years, because he has other businesses, and he has has an LLC in which he has rental property. And I keep telling him, for tax planning purposes, to put his home in that LLC and just pay rent to it, because every year he's being disallowed $30,000 to $50,000 of mortgage interest. So we'll talk a little bit more about that after the break, but you have to tax plan. You're listening to the Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. We'll be right back.
What's wrong? I can't stop craving a cigarette. I just quit.
The Share Foundation is the health division of the Coy Chiropractic Institute, a 501c3 509A2 public nonprofit organization dedicated to the growth and development of the natural health care services. In particular, through the chiropractic profession, offering health services at the Share clinics in the greater Los Angeles area. Your donations can help in expanding these facilities across the nation, research programs, and public education, thus offering a solution to the many of the health challenges we face. Your donations are tax deductible and can be sent through our website at www.sharefoundation.com. That's www.cherfoundation.com by clicking on the donation button. Thank you.
We are the Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil.
Make sure to check us out every week at the3guysrent.com.
And you'll find out what they say we're faces for radio and voices for the deaf. Damn right. Have you seen yourself lately? Hey, I'm audio candy. All right. Always tune in each week so you can hear the really absurd news and talk with the Three Guys Rant. Arvin, how do they reach us?
Call us at 855-69-3-GUYS. 855-69-3-GUYS.
Welcome to Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Welcome back, everyone. We're watching the rantradionetwork.com. I'm Anthony Sykes. Give us a call at 855-693-4897. We'd like to know what's taxing you. And again, my co-host coerce.
Coerce you. Coerce you into getting rid of these taxes.
Cohort. Co-host. Oh, now you can tell this is live. Cheryl Bohannon.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I have a question. Now, I was reading because, from my line of the business, I can help people with college plans.
Okay.
And certain ones are deductible more than others. Um, you have your five different variations of your 529s that are regulated on the state level, and then they find ways to fund those and help bring people's taxable income down. But I noticed there is multiple credits when it comes to college. I know one young man, one of my clients, he gets that 1098T, and I'm noticing what his family actually spends on his college education and what they get a credit for, of course, are two totally different amounts. But you have that. There's a 1 credit per student claim. And then, so if you have multiple children, or say you have 5 children, and say out of those 5, 3 are in college, that you can actually still get a credit for all 3 that are in college. It's not like if you have 5, you can only take the credit of 1. And then you have the American Opportunity Tax Credit along with that Lifetime Learning Credit. So how do you really know which college credit you are qualified for? And then which one really, I guess I know it will vary with everybody's situation, but how do those work and which ones kind of make some, sense? Because it's multiple ones that people can use. And then qualified expenses, does that go as part of the credit? Like, how does that work?
Well, I guess the American Opportunity Credit came in as a way to give people a bigger credit, and it's really, you get that if you started and you have not gone through 4 years of college. That's the first thing.
Okay.
If you're in a master's program, you don't qualify. If even possibly if you have been in college for 5 years, you may not qualify, even though you haven't gotten a degree. There's some gray area there.
It almost takes 5 years to graduate now.
Well,
That's another story.
like I
That's
said,
another
it depends.
Right.
The other credit, the Hope credit, is if after you have gone through, and that's for an advanced degree. So you're getting a
Okay.
master's or a PhD or something, then you get credit there. It's a smaller credit. I think the maximum may be $1,000 or 1,500, where the opportunity credit could be 2,500 or $4,000, something like that. So that's how you would use it. So if you unfortunately and fortunately, depending on who's paying that bill, happen to have 3 children in college at the same time, you may be paying 60,000 a year, and anywhere from six to $12,000 credit. It's going to help you, but it's still not going to reduce that. And loans do qualify for you having to pay that. What doesn't is if obviously you get a scholarship, and the qualified expenses would be the books and materials that you need for the class, not your student housing.
I've noticed these credits and the requirements for them have changed over time. Like when the 529 came out, it was not as flexible. So if you had 2 children and you had a plan set up on one, you couldn't transfer it to the second. So a few years back, it definitely became transferable between siblings and even cousins. So it worked out where it can be used. But just with you telling me that, it's ironic that we get less credits for education and our retirement because those get capped at a certain amount versus, and then you get larger ones with, real estate interests because you get like 30, 40, 50,000. Do you think, and this is just me on my little soapbox, not like a real tax question, but it would be a little different if you received a larger credit, if you do plan for your future, if you do invest in your kids. Like I think our society and country would look a little bit different if you did, if you got more perks and more help when you're doing the right thing, you're going to school, you're investing in your children, than if you're just sending them to one little school or one little place and you only get $1,000. Like, I don't know, the credits for certain things I think should be larger because it gives us more incentive to do better.
Okay.
Do you see where I'm going with
Well,
that?
I understand, but again, remember the number one thing for taxes is to generate income.
Oh yes, no money and you being
And
smart.
and so the other part is there is it's intertwined. Uh, the tax breaks are designed to have businesses invest not only in that business but help to provide jobs to tax-paying individuals. So when you look at, okay, yes, there could be more incentive, more things or tax breaks or larger tax breaks for the retirement plan, but you're not hiring anyone. You're taking care of yourself and your children. That does not necessarily translate into hiring another person who is going to, with that paycheck, buy goods and rent and so on, and generate dollars throughout the system. So yes, it
So you
should be, but most of that burden is put upon you to do all that. The government actually took a great step in kind of subsidizing that. I can remember when IRAs were created, and it was a big to do. They said if you invest $2,000 in an IRA, you get to deduct it on your return. And that was because the chill throughout the government, the administration at that time, was that Social Security was going to go bankrupt right away. And because then with some with some financial maneuvering, it didn't. But they left that on the books because forward thinking, the thought was we're not going to have enough Social Security to go around for the people who retire because the baby boom. It's sort of an inverse pyramid. More people will be retiring and less people will be working. So you'll be paying for my Social Security.
Oh yeah.
When it was first created, it was thought, excuse me, as I have my own kind of account, but it never was. It's sort of a pot that we all draw from. As that pot gets smaller, we have to replenish it. So how they did it was raising the taxes. Um, um, Payroll taxes for Social Security used to only be 2%, 3%. Actually, yeah, 2%. And now they've raised them for each side, it comes up to about 15%. So you can see how they have done this. Medicare was created back in the in the 60s as a way to help the poor. Excuse me. And it got put in as a permanent
Yeah, it was
tax.
about 1935 when the whole Social Security between the retirement and the Medicare started. And I know they started to
yeah.
revamp it and
Well,
change its
yeah.
structure
No,
over time a little bit
Medicare really didn't come in until the
later.
Johnson administration. And that was to help the poor. It really did have, as I said, that was another component of taxes. Social Security was created in 1937. However, it was designed for you could get it if you turned 65, and most people didn't make it
No, you
to
didn't live that
55.
long.
So you had this huge pot build up.
Right.
And after the war, all these baby boomers came through. But
Yeah.
another component that drew from it, Social Security was never designed for disability.
No.
There was no disability component to it. You retired and that was it. It
Right.
wasn't that you had a disability and
Yeah.
you began drawing
Like it wasn't
out.
for disability or your unemployment or any.
Well,
those are
unemployment
socials,
was
it's different, but
was set up differently,
right.
but also there was not a component to pay out your spouse or your children.
Children dependents.
And then what really began to draw it, there was no component to pay basically foreigners. You can come in, and that was done in Jimmy Carter's time for whatever reason, to allow a foreigner to come in, and once they got their green card, they could become eligible for Social Security, even though they didn't have the required credits in. So they didn't pay any money in, but they're drawing money out.
And I know that's a big part of what's happening now with our
Yeah.
system, and to
So-
some extent too.
Yeah, and so with all that going on, that's why it's going down. So what the government has done is said, okay, we're going to push more of that, of your future, into your responsibility. We will help you by allowing you to be able to deduct some of it off on your taxes, and that's it. And it's a good way to take advantage of it. So it's something you always look at when we do planning, and we'll talk a little bit more about it after the break. You're listening to the Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. We'll be right back.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home. At AGR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AGR & Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.agrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español.
It's hot out here. I need a drink.
Have a mucho macho michelada. What's a michelada? Michelada is a Mexican Bloody Mary made with beer. All you have to do is get bucket-sized michelada, open it up, pour it in your favorite beer, and you're good. What if you don't like beer? You can use it in lemon lime soda, vodka with lime, or tequila with lemon lime soda.
Sounds delicious.
Where do you find it? You can find it at your favorite store, or you can go to muchomachomichelada.com. Find us on Twitter and Facebook.
Hey people, are you ready?
Are you ready for some football?
No, it's called a triple threat.
Wait, a triple threat of what?
Entertainment, gossip, and pure fun.
It's Tinseltown Talkies, Thursdays at 6:30 p.m.
Only on www.rantradionetwork.com. Don't miss out if you want to be a part of all the action.
With Rasha and Pimo.
That's right. See you then.
Welcome to Sykes Accounting and Consulting Radio Show. I am your host, Anthony Sykes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Anthony Sykes, and you're watching RantRadioNetwork.com. Give us a call at 855-693-4897. We like to know what's taxing you. And I'm with my co-host. I just can't get that word out today. I don't know here. Co-host.
Yeah.
Man, I'm
Cheryl Bohannon. Good morning. You haven't had
There,
any
Cheryl.
coffee yet.
That's true. I've been drinking water, and it's been extremely hot here the last few days.
Yes,
We've had
make sure
we
you
had a super heat
hydrate.
wave. So
Get
yes,
some oxygen to that brain with water so it can function properly. I know as we went by on down memory lane with the history of taxation and how that got started with our system and our structure and people paying into it and doing it. We have a
Okay.
call?
We have a call.
Oh,
Uh, let's pick up that call. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, it's hard to hear you.
Oh, can you hear me better now?
Yes,
Okay.
I was calling into the show.
Okay.
I had a question.
Yes. What's your question?
Yeah, hi. My name is Elrado Rice, and I'm calling from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. And I had a question. If you have you file your taxes and you give the IRS everything that they're asking for, and you qualify for a first-time buyer program, and then they give you the a tax break and give you the check, and then they come back at you and say you didn't qualify, and then take all your money out of your account. What do you do?
Whoa. That's one that's hard to answer over the phone here, but first, if you qualified and you bought the house and you showed that you bought the house, did you have the escrow statement showing that you bought the house?
Yes, the date, the time, everything. Qualification. It was a 2008 Obama put it out there and qualified, and just now they took all the money out their account, saying that you never qualified.
All right. That you'd have to appeal for that. Apparently, they did not get some paperwork when you filed.
Okay.
Or
Should I get an attorney or hire you? Because you're smart with these taxes.
you can hire me. What you do need to do is give me a call because I can't do too much over this line here. But call my office at 562-864-2341 and we can talk.
Okay. Well, I just want to tell you, I really enjoy your show, and I think you all are giving out some great information, and we in Brooklyn, we listening.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then the other young lady, the Bohemian lady, she sounds real great too. She's real knowledgeable.
Yes, she is. Yes, she
thank
is.
you.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good one.
Yep. Bye.
That's bad. I
Uh,
would hate to get that tax bill
well, no,
or that wake up and all your money is gone.
yeah, it happens more. IRS has laid off 10,000 people this year,
Oh,
and it's not necessarily from the collection and the revenue generating side, collection and enforcement. It is more so the what you would call the back office, the clerical part, and the
wow.
temporary who answer the phone. So they do an important function. And the problem is that when you have an issue or a problem, it doesn't get answered timely. See, there's time limits. There's 30 days, 45 days, and so on. Well, it's computer driven. So the computer says, "Oh, nothing's been put in." Boom, we move to the next level. And then it says, "Oh, we haven't gotten a response back." Boom, we move to levy a bank account, which unfortunately is what happened to him.
Wow.
So without actually knowing all the facts and circumstances, this has been going on, and it came to the point. Well, they took
just
his
took
money. So we have to we if he calls, we'll see how we can address it. But it's really one for appeals and possibly the tax advocate once we get into it. But I have a couple cases going on like that where we had an audit and some of the information didn't get received, some of it wasn't allowed, and we've been fighting it for 3-4 years. And we'll see what happens. So, yeah, it's not all easy and clear cut. Sometimes it kind of sits for a while.
Well, that explains why it might take them 30 or 45 minutes to answer the phone. That explains a lot. So,
Yeah,
if you need
yeah.
a job, apply to the IRS.
Well,
They might,
yeah.
I don't know if they'll hire you, but you can apply because they need some help.
They do need help, but
They need some help.
unfortunately their budget got cut $900 million.
Whoa.
So they are doing more It's more like a catch-22. They're doing more on computer, and because the computer obviously is automated, if they miss these dates or time frames because they haven't done something, it moves to the next level. And if someone doesn't stop it, then it happens to the taxpayer. And they can't, because by statute things should be moving. So you could have answered the letter. It's just that there was no one there to enter that in, that okay, we have an answer, we need 30 days to answer that letter, and it just moves on. What I envision, and it's just my envisioning, is that you have one guy in an office with 2 feet of paper, and in that 2 feet are all these things that were due 30 days ago, and the clock is just ticking, and he's working away as fast as he can, but it's just not humanly possible. In California alone, there are 28 million returns filed. So they're obviously, there's backlog. I do not know.
Possibility they're a little bit behind.
Yeah, they are
Just a little
behind.
bit.
They are behind. And I don't know how many IRS employees are in California, but 28 million pieces of paper, and I don't know how many,
Actually e-filed and all of that.
So you don't know how much paper, even if 1/10 of that is a problem, then you still have a lot of stuff going on.
And now that makes a really big sense why at one point Covered California would not allow us to to submit any more paper applications. It had to be online. They forced us to use that system. And when that was first rolling out, I don't know if they talked to Google or Yahoo. I don't think so. But it would crash. I mean, when I first started that, it would literally take sometimes an hour or 2 hours or 3 if you got kicked out to put in one application.
Right.
The system is nowhere near as horrible as it was, and it moves a lot quicker than it initially did. I just don't think they really thought that they would have that many people hit that system at one time. So I guess if you start off automated with some type of technology, the better off you are. So with that, businesses would really need to keep excellent records, really good records. And if they can be, I was saying automated, but if they can be in electronic form of some sort, it'll be easier to store, of course, with paper, quicker to get to. And if they're organized properly, you should be able to get through an audit or find information fairly quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you have to deal with it. The problem is there are more people than government employees. So when there is a rush on the system, it's tough, and that is why you should always do things a little early or file early. People who have refunds generally file early. Those who don't, wait till the last minute, obviously, because they don't want to send the check in early. And that's just the nature of it all.
Got it. Well, so with those, with the credits and different things, going into 2000 or ending out of 2014 and going into 15, where is a place that people can look to find out what's going to change with credits that their business probably had access to in 14, but it might phase out in 15? Is that something their CPAs would tell them, or is it stuff their tax guy is just supposed to know? Or
if they're a knowledgeable tax guy, they'd know. If they're do-it-yourselfer, they could look at irs.gov. It's a little confusing. That's something maybe that I have on the website. Those things that are set to expire. And you can pull those up and look at. It's not so much that you want to know, but if you plan for them to be expired, you then may spend more money than you needed to if Congress extends it. So you're kind of stuck waiting. No one wants to spend more money than they have to, and so everyone is hoping that at the very least the credits stay the same. What they'd like is that there'd be more credits. And what's happening is there's just nothing. There's this indecision and the finger pointing on both sides, whether you're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. Nothing is getting done. So we
So we need to have a voice. We need to make phone
We-
calls.
we
We, need to
need to-
mail in letters to
that's
different
right.
councilmen and say, hey, we need this enacted. Because I know one thing. I want to mail a letter and talk about the sanitation fee on my light bill. The sanitation fee on my light bill is just as much as my light usage. Well, I don't know when that got voted in, but I need to write about that because that one's a little high. And I can't even get a new trash can. I need some trash cans and they won't even give them to me. I done already paid for them. Okay.
Okay,
So we
remember
have to
now
do
that's
that.
that's a local issue.
I'm just
Where
saying.
national issues go to a different place.
It's
So
still taxes.
It's still taxes.
We have
It is still
nightmares about
taxes.
taxes and fees and taxes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so staying, at least voicing what's going on. So if you have a voice, you're irritated about something, you want something to stay. Even with the Affordable Care Act, the small business credit is only for 2 years.
right.
So only have a 2-year incentive to carry benefits. Like, let's start writing and saying that should be extended. Like, why wouldn't that be extended, especially if you continue to offer the benefit? Because, of course, people are going to continue to get sick because people aren't going to eat and be healthy.
Right.
So why, I don't understand, like, the cutoff. You give me all this incentive to get into it and all these tax credits, and then I only have it for 2 years.
Well, again, it's all budgetary, and in his balancing all the budget, he said, okay, we'll give it for 2 years, and then it may be the problem of the next guy because the administration will be out in 2 years. So who knows? And the next guy, then he can say, no, we won't do it, and try to push it another way. What we do know is that affordable care is here to stay. It is the law of the land. The Supreme Court actually said, no, you can't. And unless, was that 2/3 of the states voted out, which that will never happen or may not happen. Never say never. It's going to be here. And
we can
if
talk
they
about
do,
that.
because
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who have these ailments who before were not covered, they may decide to get up and vote, and so they don't want to upset that, or their relatives probably would vote. If you had a sick relative who had who couldn't get insurance before and now does, and they're going to take that away, yeah, I think you'll get very active in politics to get that guy who voted it out. So I think after all the smoke clears, it's going to stay, it's going to go forward. What we have to figure out is what's going to be happening. So it looks like we've come up to the end of the time here, and we'll see you on the next show. I'm Anthony Sykes.
You're
This is
listening
Cheryl
to the Sykes
Bohannon.
Accounting
Till
day,
then,
everybody.
Consulting
take care.
Radio Show. We'll be right back.